Dave,
John,
Shane,
Chad,
these sci-fi guys.
It would help if I unmuted the mic. That's right. We are these sci-fi guys. And everybody say hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Was that a purpose hi,
No.
John? Like delay or
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just we got to have fun somehow on a Monday night.
yeah, really. Yeah, in case you guys are wondering, we record this on a Monday night. Of course, usually gets posted right afterwards because Shane, you shaved.
I did.
Just noticed that.
I did. You know.
It's
Took a
not
second
as
here,
dramatic as it's Shane you shaved. If I showed up with the no beard on, I'd be like, oh my God, who's this guy?
Chad,
well,
Chad, if you shave, I'm worried about more than just the fact that you shaved. Okay, buddy.
I agree.
I'm worried for you.
I agree.
Yeah, it just took me for a moment there because I
There
just
you
saw you yesterday and you had a beard.
I did.
Or stubble
did.
or whatever you
So you
want
thought.
to call it.
I did.
Yeah,
The cake is a lie.
the cake is. Well, we did a movie, another. I don't know what's with these movies recently. We're doing these recent movies, and this one is from 2023. We did what is this? Let me click this button here. That's right. Godzilla Minus One. The latest of the Godzilla franchise that's not in the Monsterverse. So it's kind of a standalone. Believe me, you could get all if you go back. I mean, if you really want to do research on Godzilla, I mean, there is different layers of which one's which and what they're from, and comic books and anime and heck, even the TV series that I used to watch when I was a kid, because it had Godzilla and Godzuki, and it was an animated TV show from the 1970s. It was just called Godzilla. But it was Saturday morning. These people were on the boat and they could push a button, beep, 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 and then Godzilla would show up. And if that button didn't work, Godzuki could just scream really loud and Godzilla would show up, And Godzilla had the atomic breath and Godzuki could look like cigarette smoke. It just puffed, puffed in circles.
Yes.
It was quite
They all
humorous.
have its own little genre in Godzilla world.
Mhm.
Yeah. But this one is the latest. Again, 2023. We had Godzilla X Kong. I don't remember what year that was. That might have been the latest. Hold on.
I think it was.
Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire was 2024. So of the standalones, this one is the one that was the latest. Godzilla X Kong was the latest because it was a year after this one. But I did not choose this movie. I'm the big honkin' monster guy. I love it. And I didn't choose this movie. Shane did. So he gets the top seat.
Yep.
And actually, it's funny. Last week, he was like, we were supposed to do another movie, and he was like, guys, can we switch it? I want to watch this movie really bad.
I wanted to
So
see
we're
it.
like,
I did.
we're like,
Okay.
fine, we'll be that way. So, Shane, why don't you go ahead and give us a brief synopsis of this movie?
Sure. So, in post-World War II Japan, A traumatized kamikaze pilot struggling with survivor's guilt must join forces with fellow veterans to defend their devastated homeland from a nuclear mutated Godzilla. Equal parts raw human drama and relentless monster spectacular, Godzilla Minus One anchors colossal kaiju destruction in deeply moving story of redemption.
I'll buy that for $1.
Yep.
Yeah. So, what'd you guys think of the movie? Just broad strokes. You don't have to think any. What did you guys think?
I
For
loved
me,
it.
every
I'm sorry,
time
John.
I'm just gonna
You go
no.
first.
We're just
You go first, John.
John, go ahead. Tell us what
for
you
me,
think.
it's the most classic feeling modern movie I think we've seen in a long time. And really, I think it's probably, which this is of the Godzilla movies I've seen, which is one classic, one in the MonsterVerse, and now this one.
You did
for
see
me-
Terror of Mechagodzilla. Don't forget.
Yeah, to me, that's
made you
one. That's
watch
a
that.
classic.
Yeah.
So, for me though, this is like it pays good homage without it feeling too old and cringy. And so I think it served a good balance for me. Now, for me personally, the timeline jumps, that's where you get me a little lost and confused. And I get it, storytelling, you only have so much time in a movie. And they weren't bad. They weren't bad for the story. I'm literally saying for me and my attention span, that time jump, I'm like, all right, we're jumping too much. I don't understand.
It was only 2 years. But it was only
Yeah,
2
but it
years.
did it a lot. But it did it a lot
did.
on
It
the
did.
front end.
That's
There
fair.
were like 10
John,
jumps.
that's why you don't watch it in 2x speed.
Hey, 2 times speed. That part I watched in 1 time speed. That's
Wow.
what caused me to speed up because I got lost too quick.
He just called it out majorly.
But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was very good. Like I said, it felt very classic without being budget. There you go.
Yeah,
That's what.
I especially love this movie because it made you feel like this was the classic Godzilla story where it is coming into attacking mainland or land. It made you feel like it brought you back into the 70s, brought you back into the old classics of Godzilla. And to me, I like this better than the MonsterVerse Godzilla. So,
Well, this was more of humans versus Godzilla rather than Godzilla versus Kong or Godzilla and Kong versus these other giant monsters,
Yeah.
I think of other than the original 1950s Godzilla, I think this one is probably the closest to being the most realistic of all of the Godzilla movies.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Godzilla that was done in 1989. This is how you do a good Godzilla movie.
I would agree.
Godzilla 2014.
2001.
Here, hold on. Godzilla 2014. The one we just did beginning of this year. This is how you do a good Godzilla movie and keep people interested is you show Godzilla early and you show him often and you show him getting hurt and you show him coming back with a vengeance. That's the kind of the progression with these things are. You need to have that, unlike 2014 where you didn't see him until half the movie, honestly, I'd rather watch some of the older ones, the Godzilla 2000 or 1984 or, the original rubber suit,
Yeah.
than some of the newer stuff. It seems like, I think they finally got his look right. I didn't think they overly used CGI in this. I think a lot of it was old school. I think John would probably be able to tell us better on that. But I mean, to me, I was like, that's a model. That's a model. That's a model. That's not CGI. That's a model. But they did it. They did a good job with that, So and like I think Chad said it, it gave you that nostalgia feel, but not too old, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I agree.
I was just going to speak to
You or
the
me?
models.
Go ahead, please
Go for it.
speak to the models. Then
'cause-
Shane can jump in.
Like, part of the issue with modern cameras being so high definition is it's usually a little easier to call stuff out like that. Part of the beauty of old cinematography is the fact that you could cheat the system a little bit because the cameras weren't, I don't know, you weren't so clear and focused on everything. There's a little bit of haze there, some grain in the film, and you could cheat things a little bit. Modern cameras is a little harder, but I think they did a good job of hiding it, like you say.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Shane, I don't know if you did a lot of research on the music.
I did.
Okay, good. Then go right ahead because I have one part I really want to talk about.
Go for it.
Well,
I'll piggyback off of you.
okay, it actually is lack of music. It was the one part where the kamikaze pilot was way out a little bit, and then they're starting to wrap around Godzilla, and then they're like, it's not working. What are we going to do? And then it just goes silent, no sound whatsoever. And then you just hear the engine of the plane, and then just starts, it's getting louder and louder as it's coming towards the camera, and then you're like, oh no, what is it going to do? And I just thought that was, and also having the classic, dun, 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 the Godzilla classic sound, I mean, even at the end, and what I love is they didn't put an after credit scene. They did it before the credits, which was beautiful. And but they did it, that you could see the thing sinking, but then you just heard the music of that dun dun dun, and then you started seeing it rebuild itself. So you're like, oh man, this is going to be a sequel.
Yep.
Not good.
Absolutely. And there is a sequel coming out. It's Godzilla Minus Zero. It's going to be coming out, I think, later this year or next year. I can't remember which one.
It is supposed to be November in Japan. It's supposed to be November of this year. And then for the United States, it's supposed to be like December or January is when it's supposed to come out.
Okay. Cool. So Dave really hit the nail on the head as far as the music goes. I don't really think I need to add much. He kind of hit it. But I will say that one of the impressive things about the composer for this one, Sato, was how much homage he paid to the original 1954 movie with this, especially with the Godzilla theme. Very simplistic, just I think it's a 4 or 5 note motif that is descending. Really just that classic Godzilla sound, and he did that very intentionally while still kind of adding some things to it to make it more modern, but at the same point really paying homage to that. This movie to me was very much your classic original Godzilla resculpted is what I would say. The look I thought was absolutely amazing, but you could tell the origins there, not just in the music, but just in the way he looked, the way he moved. I think they did a great job as far as really setting the tone of this, really depicting what was going on at that time, post World War II. The atomic bombs had been dropped. It really kind of highlighted that, especially in the atomic breath, which, by the way, that is the best atomic breath, hands down, of any Godzilla movie. I'm sorry. There's no debate there. It was absolutely amazing. And the way they set it up was unbelievable. But I think they didn't try to do too much with this movie. They really tried to focus on the human story, which was great. Godzilla himself was very fierce. He looked very mean, even though he wasn't nearly as big as some of the other Godzillas. He was fierce. He was fierce. And yeah, I just think they did a great job with it. But as far as the music goes specifically, simplicity was the key. And like Dave said, there was a lot of moments where it did not have it. And then when you saw Godzilla, bam, there it is. That simple motive came in, and it was impactful for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and rate this. All right, this is part of the show where we're going to rate this movie on a scale of 0 to 5 lightsabers. Shane, you pick this movie. You get to start us off.
So I know this is not going to be a shock to everybody, but as high as I rate this, I'm probably going to get made fun of by the guys. But you know what? I don't really care. I loved this movie, and even though it was in Japanese and you had to read subtitles, I was captivated the entire time. And I thought start to finish, there was enough action, there was enough drama. I loved how the composer specifically, I'm thinking about the scene right after Godzilla attacks the city, and his girl. So he thinks his girl has died, and he's on his knees and he looks up and he sees Godzilla in the big mushroom cloud. And the way that he wrote the music there just had such a huge sense of despair.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so impactful. I thought it was amazing. All that to say, I'm giving this a 5. I don't think there's any way to not give it 1.
I kind of figured that. Chad, how about you?
So here's this. Is this better than the one we watched earlier? Yes. Would I watch this again? Yes. Would allow my son to watch it? He kind of jumped in and watched it. He actually watched it with me. He enjoyed it. So comparatively enough, I'm going to go with a 5 also.
Chad's on my side.
Wow. The Grinch is being nice. Okay, John, how about you?
I love the pacing of the film, minus the early jumps. I love the timeline, like the era of history. Cinematography, great. Again, that nostalgic feel without it being over campy or budgety. Love that. Overall, love the music. That heavy, bassy, horn is just always great for me. And I think they did it without overdoing the classic, what is now the classic trailer foghorn. I'm glad that wasn't relied on. It's an actual motif, which is nice, an actual theme. Overall, love the film. I can't quite give it the 5, I don't think, just because that early jumping kind of got to me, but it is a solid 4 for me.
Solid 4. Okay. And then there was me. I'm going to steal a quote from those sci-fi guys, Max specifically. He actually argued when we did when we did The Voyage Home, we kind of had an argument, and he argued that was the perfect movie. And I was like, maybe not. I don't know. I don't agree. And we kind of had an argument back and forth. To me, this was a perfect movie. I liked the time jumps because I thought it would move the story along well. You didn't get over saturated with Godzilla himself. It wasn't just all monsters. There was the human story, and the human story was so compelling. A kamikaze pilot who decided, I don't want to be a kamikaze. I want to live, and then feeling the guilt, and then the being able to get revenge and still survive and fall in love. And it was, to me, it was heartwarming. It was, to me, this is how you do a Godzilla movie. It really is. This is a good Godzilla movie. It's a 5 all day long. So
wow, both of the Grinches gave it a 5.
I know something's wrong with me, man.
Yeah.
I just get 5s apparently. So I mean, just normal for me.
Maybe. I can't tell you all. The sequel has all the characters that were in this movie that survived, that I could see. At least the kamikaze pilot, the doctor was there, his girlfriend, wife, whatever you want to call her, she was in it. and it's going to be another time jump, John. It's going to be a few years later, after this. And I've seen some stuff and I can't tell if it is or not, but apparently NATO is going to be involved in this. So, like, it's not going to be just Japan.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, I did see a thing, and I don't know if it's true or not, where it has Godzilla walking behind the Statue of Liberty.
I saw that
So,
too.
and I don't know if that was just AI generated or if that was really part of the movie or not. So,
Well, and his
We
scale
sh-
was supposed to be bigger too.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
but see,
well, here-
that statement you just made scares me, though. I couldn't tell if it was AI or if that's actually in the movie.
I
We've
know,
entered
right?
that stage, fellas. We've
We
entered
have.
it.
We are in that stage. We really
It's
are.
here.
I mean,
It's here.
I can tell you a lot of, I mean, at least Facebook has gotten much better about it. They'll actually put AI generated at the bottom on some things, I mean, some of them, like they're some of the ones I'm watching are they're like Star Wars ones where and it's funny, like, you have Darth Vader in his, that little circle thingy that he was in, but apparently that's his bathroom, so, and then it floods the entire Death Star. So, I mean, it's just it's quite humorous on how they're able, and the stuff looks good. I mean, it really does. It's like, golly, I mean, I understand why actors really are mad about what's going on here, because they're gonna get taken away eventually if we keep going at this rate.
True.
Are we gonna say something, Chad? I'm sorry.
No, we're good.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll talk about AI all night. So let's
Yeah.
ask a question here. All right. What moral or ethical questions does the film raise about creation, life, or destiny?
This is a very good movie to talk about life and destiny here. You got the kamikaze pilot decide, hey, I'm gonna make up an excuse to turn around and go land. And even though in that time you're being a kamikaze pilot and you don't do it, you're labeled as a traitor.
Dishonor.
Dishonor before death. So you will take your life. But he decided to take his I value my life better than I'd rather be labeled be dishonorable and then live and earn my way back. The story of this movie, this is the reason why I gave it a 5. It brought you with it, even though you had time jumps. The time jumps was there to speed it up. Because if they sit there and spent a year to keep doing this wouldn't have been it would have been a 2-hour movie, and it's still be trying to tell the story. So the kamikaze pilot going from what I love this middle of the movie. The girl calls him dad. I told you I'm not your dad. But then at the end of the movie, that's all he wanted was when he finally found his girlfriend, wife, soon to be wife.
Mhm.
I don't know. I might spoil something there on the next one.
Spoilers included.
Spoiler. It's gonna be spoiler included. They always say you should have married that girl before now. Thing is, and she asked, "Have you lived? Are you done with what you needed to get done before to move on?" That right there was the ultimate question that should have been asked, and it was being asked the whole movie.
Yeah.
I agree.
One thing I want to add to that is, where he resigned to become a kamikaze pilot again.
Yeah.
Until that mechanic and him kind of, they bonded, and he was like, hey, pull this lever here and it's ejection. See,
Mhm.
Which you don't know that's going to happen until after it goes into his mouth,
Yeah.
So, I think that was a big part of it is, hey, he wanted to live. I think so many times in life, when people are on their deathbed, it seems like most of the time, most people want to live, they don't want to say, okay, I'm done, go ahead and just bury me now, turn off the machine, do whatever. Most of the time, I mean, there's not a lot that I don't have statistics. So, but to my knowledge, I mean, I'm not like none of my family ever had a DNR, do not resuscitate order, in their
Hmm.
file or whatever, because they're like, oh yeah, help, let me live, let me live, let me live. I want to live. And I mean, because I remember seeing when my father started declining when he was dying, and I saw it every day, because I went and visited him every day, and but he still was fighting every day. The cancer was just eating him up, and he just wanted to live every day. So, you know, um, that could be heavy for somebody. Really, it really could be. I mean, I did like how this movie did add a little bit of humor in there with the doctor, especially, and the kid. They tried adding a little bit of humor in there to kind of break it up a little bit, because otherwise this could have gotten really, really dark real quick.
Hmm.
Very quick run gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. All
Um,
right. Let me go to the next question. Oh, unless unless someone else.
I am dying tonight, apparently. No, I was just gonna say, to me, this movie really hits on like the end is not the end until you fulfilled your purpose,
Mm-hmm.
And even then, in this film, it was still not the end. He's still alive. Great. So he obviously hasn't fulfilled that full purpose yet, but just the idea that he continues, like you say, to fight and fight and fight and fight. And so at the end of the day, he hasn't fulfilled his purpose. And so the end is not the end, as it were.
Yeah, I think there's also a thing about finding peace, and I think with the hero's kind of journey throughout this, part of the thing when he was a kamikaze pilot and he went away from it was all of the guilt and everything that was weighing on him throughout the entire movie, and he wouldn't allow himself to be at peace and to move on and everything. And you finally see it at the end when he has the little girl, and he has his I would think will be wife or whatever there, and they're finally together. It seems like he finally has peace, and I think that is a big arc in the story. It's just the guilt and everything is finally off of him because he did what he needed to do, but he was still able to live and carry on.
Yeah. Concur. All right, let me go to the next question. How do the characters express faith in themselves, in others, or in something beyond?
Well, they had faith in a very interesting plan to get rid of Godzilla. It was interesting to say the least. But in the end, it worked. It was, yeah. So sort of did, but it took the plan going in for all that to happen. So
Yeah.
so they had faith in a plan that they really didn't know if it was going to work, and it kind of did, except for the post credits.
Well, I think they all had faith in each other too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a big part of it, especially at the end. They were like, look, the Navy's not going to do anything. The Army's not going to do anything. It's up to us. We're the only ones that can do this, and we've got 4 boats. That's all we got, so they looked at it through scientific method and tried to figure out, okay, well, if we do this, and I think they approached it the right way. And I think, the Navy admiral was, man, he could talk anybody into war. I mean, he was good, even though I didn't quite, I didn't like on the one the one I watched, it was the closed caption was a little bit behind what they said. So it was like, okay, I could see him get all animated. Then it was like, it's like, oh, okay, but still, I think that was a big part of this, is that especially after everything happened, they had faith in each other, and he had faith in his I know he wrote a letter to his girlfriend, but I don't think she got it. No, never mind. That the letter was saying that
the-
they found his girlfriend.
Remember, he
that's what
wrote the
was.
letter to the aunt to the kid, saying, "Hey, here's money. Use it on the kid, and then it is." But
And then
you got
the other guy rode up with the bicycle.
Yeah.
With
the telegram
saying that they found her. Yeah, that's right. That's what it was. Again,
But
sometimes the translation is it's kind of, you get lost.
Yeah, the thing is, keep going with he purposely sought out that mechanic. He knew the mechanic couldn't get the plane up and going. He knew that that's the only one that can do it. So he decided, he lied. Hey, you're the reason why they all died, knowing that the mechanic will come find them.
Mm-hmm.
But the mechanic also had faith in that he can do it. You can realize with that. Oh, now you get it. Now you get it. You should have done this 4 years ago when I told you fire those guns. But
that 20 millimeter wouldn't have done nothing to Godzilla.
Yeah.
I know they kept saying a 20 millimeter will kill anything. It's like, no,
not
it's because he didn't fire is why he ended up coming back around and saving us all.
Yeah.
At least until the next movie.
Right.
So, yeah. All right. Well, there's not a lot to talk about here, but
Indeed.
all right, how can we either fix or improve this movie? I got a couple things. I know John's going to say not so many time lapse, which I get that. I understand that. I wish there was a way I could have heard it in English where it would have been dubbed. I mean, I don't care if the lips don't match up. I don't have Netflix, so that's why I didn't watch it on Netflix. I watched it on mine, and I just had to read the subtitles the whole way. So that's honestly, I liked it that way for a bit because it made me pay attention. I couldn't just get on my phone and play a game and just kind of look up every so often. I had to actually read everything that they were saying. But I really would have liked to have had it dubbed in English. And there was something else I was thinking would have been a real nice. I mean, I loved the ending. I loved the airplane, the whole setup with the airplane and everything and the boats. I don't know. I know you like the atomic breath chain. I wasn't a big fan of his scales popping up. I mean, I would have liked them just to light up like the original, kind of a nod back to that. Those are about the only two things I would change about the movie, though. I really think everything else was good. Anybody else have anything that they want to? You think?
The only thing really I would say is that one of the things that the MonsterVerse does well is there's always a reason why Godzilla comes. There's always a reason why he's going from place to place, whether it's to hunt another monster or whatever it might be. I would have liked to have kind of seen a little more of why is he going to this place? Why is he just ripping buildings apart? Is it just out of spite? Does he just want to like there? Sometimes there didn't seem to be a purpose for it. He was there and he was just destroying the town. Maybe I'm not seeing it correctly, but that specifically kind of stuck out to me.
Oh, that's the way all the old 70s was. He just kind of rampaged. Oh,
yeah.
I did think of one other thing. I just thought he was kind of lumbering. I really think I would have liked to have seen him be a little bit lighter on his feet when he's in the town, something a little bit more athletic. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it just seemed like he was, like his steps were just so slow. I was like, okay, you can speed up his walking a little bit,
Yeah.
But he's a giant. That's how giants work. That's science. There's more mass. It takes a slower movement.
Well, sometimes his movements didn't match. Sometimes he would walk very slowly. But if he was either spinning to whip his tail or things like that, it moved a lot quicker. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's momentum. That's like a tail whip, you know.
No, I know, but he's spinning his whole body to do that. He's spinning his whole body to do that, though.
Semantics.
Well, see,
Semantics, yeah.
thing is, I don't know if you remember before he made the first landfall after the island in World War II. You saw him was getting you saw the footage of nuclear bombs getting dropped, and you saw the cutaway of him getting hurt. I think that is probably what he went to mainland instead of just staying near the islands. Thought maybe if I hit here, it will stop doing this.
True.
Yep. Well, everyone, I think that's our show. Again, really fantastic movie. If you guys haven't seen it, watch it. So, Chad, you said on Netflix they actually have a English dub.
I didn't see any subtitles when it was in English. They have the color and the black and white.
Yeah, see, I've seen it both. I saw the original black and white is when I saw it in the movie theater. They actually call it what is it? Godzilla Minus One minus color. It's kind of the and then this time because I have it now, I just have the color version, so I watched the color version this time. I think I like I love the black and white. The black and white just kind of made it feel it really drew it back to those 50s in 70s movies a lot. But I think I liked the color a little bit better because I thought it really popped. A lot of the stuff just had some very good. It helped with the visual effects to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our show, everyone. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for not only 6 of you not watching last week. I appreciate that.
We did beat that.
Bumped that number up a little bit, so so we wouldn't have that dreaded number,
right?
3 weeks in a row. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm just looking ahead at our stuff. We still have at least another new movie still to do. That's coming up here real soon. So, I mean, that's like 2025, 2026 time frame. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, listening, Spotify people, Apple Podcast, all that good stuff. Like, subscribe, or be vaporized, all that fun stuff. Anyway, until next time.
Crash and burn.
The Sci-Fi Guys is an independent broadcast and is not affiliated with this movie or TV series. We would love to hear from you. Please contact us by leaving a comment below or by emailing us TheseSciFiGuys@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, or share this podcast with someone else who enjoys science fiction.
Subscribe or be vaporized.